Welcome to Beyond the Main podcast. We're here at JSerra. We are more than just a school. We are more than teachers, coaches, and administrators. We are a community striving together to grow in faith, intellect, and character. Each episode, we will talk to a member of the JSerra community and get a deeper look of who they are as individuals and their expertise in their field. Thanks for joining us, and if you can, please like and subscribe. All right, welcome to the Beyond the Main podcast here at JSerra High School, where we are more than just a school. We're more than teachers, math professors, coaches, administrators, where we are trying to do something very unique here at JSerra, forming young men and women in faith, intellect, and character, and helping us kind of grow as a community, faculty and staff, parents, just as an overall community. And today I have one of the fruits of the JSerra community, Hannah Ortiz, the legend. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
She is our first guest for Beyond the Main, and we're going to just kind of catch up and see where life has taken you post JSerra, what JSerra was like during your 4 years, because I know I'm a huge impact in your life.
Oh yeah, very much so.
But just a little, I'll give you the 50,000 foot view of where Hannah is today. She matriculated into San Diego State University, is one of our 2021 alumni graduates. I know she's in a sorority. She's killing it on a mission trip. I mean, she has so much to share, but I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, so right now I just entered my third year at San Diego State University. I'm pursuing a degree in marketing right now. I'm in a sorority, like you said, Alpha Chi Omega, which has been great. Yeah. Vice president of chapter relations of my chapter, so that's pretty cool. Pursuing modeling, which is cool too.
Nice.
Which has been nice, just staying busy.
And you help out with your mom's business too, right?
Oh yeah.
No, really?
No. I mean, I did a lot in high school. I think it was nice to get perspective on that industry, but right. No, not so much anymore.
Okay, yeah.
She wishes. I
love it. Okay, why San Diego State? Because I know
He's going to bring it up.
I know UCLA was just knocking on your door, and
yeah. So I was supposed to be a Bruin, but I'm still a Bruin at heart. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to go to UCLA for a really, really long time. We're a Bruin family, I would have been like 8th generation, something crazy like that at UCLA. So I thought I was going there for a really long time, and then knew I wanted to stay close to home, so I obviously applied to schools in San Diego, LA area, and then ended up getting denied from UCLA, and San Diego State was my second option. One of my brothers, Jonah, actually attended San Diego State University, and he loved it, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. Went down there, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Nice,
I would not want to be in LA right now. I love San Diego.
Yeah.
Want to live in San Diego when I'm older, so
wow.
Yeah, it was ultimately the best decision for me.
Oh, good for you. Okay. Okay, and there's a lot going on in your life. I know my wife, as you'll probably mention later on, is a huge mentor for you, and we were just catching up, before you headed off to school this year, and just telling me some really impactful things you were doing over the summer. So it really caught my attention. I thought we should share that. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what you did this summer.
Yeah, totally. So this past summer, I got the opportunity to go on mission in Argentina for about a month. It was something that just kind of fell into my lap. I was praying back in January to God. I knew that I wanted to go on mission in the summer, and randomly a missionary from Kansas came to my Bible study, and she was like, I'm leading a mission trip to Argentina, and I was like, I'm in. So I walked into it very, very blind. I didn't know anyone on the trip.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. It was very, very blind. It was honestly the first time in my life that I've ever been uncomfortable, truthfully. Truthfully out of my comfort zone. I didn't know anyone. I was in a place I'd never been before. People didn't speak my language. So it was the first time I ever had that leap of faith with God, where I was just fully trusting him, truthfully.
Yeah. Moment to moment.
Exactly. And I think that I don't know. I think I learned a lot of things on the trip. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but our main mission was working with the Servidor sisters down there, serving the mentally disabled men, women, and children. So
oh my gosh.
We spent the first half of the trip working in the women's home, which was 55 women with only 8 sisters caring for them, which is like a miracle in itself. And then the back end of the trip, we worked at the men's home. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it really, really gave me perspective on my own suffering. I feel like I just found myself turning inward a lot of the trip, and, you know, found myself deep in prayer, and like God was just telling me, like, turn outward. You got to be present to the people around you.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah, of course.
Before you get so, theological on us. What were some of the struggles, right? What were some of the sufferings? I mean, other than the fact that you're in the middle of nowhere with people that don't speak English, with people you don't even know that are going with you on the trip.
Yeah. So I think I was telling you, the first challenge of the trip was definitely just being surrounded by strangers. You know, I didn't know anyone going on the trip. I didn't know anyone I was going to serve, and I found I found myself like telling myself, like, I don't know you, but I know Jesus knows you, and I'm gonna love you because I know Jesus loves you. So that was like one of the challenges. When we're getting to like more surface level challenges, you know, we didn't have hot water,
right?
So it was
you
cold.
You didn't have your 3 suitcases.
It didn't have my
clothes,
3 suitcases.
Right?
Didn't have my celery juice, you know. So we didn't have hot showers. It was also winter down there, so it was quite chilly. It was like 30 degrees every day. You know, I wasn't on my regular diet.
Sure.
I ended up losing like 7 pounds when I was down there.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah.
So you're fasting. You're taking.
Well, we were waking up at 5 a.m. every morning. We were praying a holy hour right in the morning, and then going to mass, and then starting our days after that, and then working till pretty late in the night. So yeah, the hours were super long. But you know, I really ultimately, every single time I was turning inwards to that, I was like, I'm not here for me. Like, this is not about me. I'm here to serve the people around me. I remember this one time, one of the days we got to attend mass at the men's home towards the back end of the trip, and it was chaos. I mean, you have like 50 plus men that are all mentally disabled. I mean, there's people screaming. You're sitting there, you're trying to focus on the mass. And I remember turning so inward and being like, I just wish I could focus right now and focus on my prayer. And I remember Jesus whispering to me, like, this is exactly where I want to be, and this is where I am. I'm in the mess. I'm in the chaos. Like, I'm here.
Wow.
Yeah,
that gave me the chills.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was truthfully like so transformative.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long were you there?
I was there for about a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was quite some time. I don't know, we talked about this as well, but I mean, the sisters and the religious down there do this
every day. Right. And you're like, okay, 1 month.
I know,
I can knock this out.
Exactly. I'm like, I have like an expiration date here where I'm like, I can keep on going, you know, every day I'm like offering it up, like cold showers, I'm like offering it up. But yeah, so I mean, every single person down there was like a walking miracle. The religious, the people down there, it was just.
Was there like a particular, I'm going to either say moment, it sounded like that moment you just described was like one of the highlights or most impactful, but was there a person, or is there someone that you looked up to, connected with?
Yeah, totally. There was one person, I mean, there was obviously a couple of people that I really connected with. One of the, I mean, we were doing corporal works of mercy down there, so basically just our mere presences of being there gave these people so much dignity. And one of the things that we got to do was feed these people every day. And I got the opportunity to feed this one man, Juan Carlos, who really struggled, didn't speak, looked down, and I was all in his face. He probably hated me, but I was all in his face feeding him all these, like, every single day. And I remember sitting, and I was like, I remember thinking to myself, why do I not do this more often? Like, this is such an easy way that I could, you know, help people in my community. So I've actually continued to do that work. I volunteer on Mondays, every single Monday, with mentally disabled in San Diego, which has been something that I've changed in my life. So yeah, that was one of the things. And then another one of the men, Pasquale, who is paraplegic and also mentally disabled, loved to paint. And so obviously doesn't have any arms or legs. And so he paints with his mouth. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he is obviously like incompetent, so he mainly paints by memory. And he has this one painting done of Christ's face, which was unreal. Like, brought me like so much emotion, because I'm like, wow, you've truthfully seen Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's a transformative experience.
Yeah, totally.
It. Well, let's backtrack, right? So this is the current Hannah. Let's go back, gosh, what? 10 years ago?
Oh yeah, 10 years. Not that old yet.
Let's go back a couple years, and let's go back to, okay, JSerra, you're coming into the new world. It's high school. What programs were you involved in? Tell me about the JSerra experience for you.
Yeah, JSerra was honestly, like, such an amazing experience. I remember leaving JSerra and be like, I want to go back. Like, my freshman year, I was like, I miss high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was involved in volleyball. So I played volleyball for 3 years until COVID hit. So that was where I spent my time athletically, which was a blast. I definitely didn't take it too seriously. I knew I wasn't going to play in college or anything like that, but it was...
I came to the games, you know, cheered.
Cheer me on, yeah.
Put number 7 in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it was a time, just fun time to play a sport that I love with my best friends. And then as for academics, I was actually involved in the Arts Magnet program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was pursuing broadcast journalism for 4 years while I was at JSerra. I ultimately didn't pursue that in college. I chose a different route, but broadcasting and the Arts Magnet in Sarah Breckville taught me so much more than just broadcasting. You know, broadcasting taught me like communication skills, like how to think fast on my feet, you know, just all of that stuff that I have taken and pursued in a different direction, but ultimately super grateful for that experience. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. So sports, academics, magnet program, TV broadcasting.
Yeah, and I was also super involved in, I mean, I wouldn't say
I was just
super.
going to say, go ahead.
Campus ministry also.
Yeah, I was just going to say campus ministry, right? I mean, that's how we first kind of connected.
That's actually how we first connected, yeah.
Right.
It was freshman retreat.
Freshman retreat.
You want to tell a story of how
you were jumping over everybody catching the football? Yes, I want to tell that story. Of course I do. So we are in the rinkety-dink village of... what is it? Silverado Canyon.
Yeah, Silverado.
And it's some retreat center, and it was pouring rain, folks. And I'm not talking about like the hurricane we just had. I'm talking about pouring rain. And we just, like, the water's kind of dripping through the ceilings. My cabin had no anything other than just like this bed. So we're kind of roughing it a little bit. But anyways, I just, you, Kate Giddings, Melissa Foley, and then my wife was involved in campus ministry. She was a campus minister, so I tagged along and I taught the freshmen. And
I was leading this
You were leading this retreat.
Yeah.
And so we go out there and we're like, hey, let's go play football, you know, and all these kids go out there and I'm just kind of throwing the ball up and I noticed there's this girl jumping over everybody, catching the ball, and we are scoring touchdowns because of you. So
yeah, that was our first bonding moment.
Yeah, exactly. But just
and then I found out you're engaged to Sarah.
Right.
And I was like, that was a whole nother.
Yeah. Right. I was
engaged.
Right, to your hero. So then
exactly.
and then you said, hey, here's the adoption papers.
Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was great. And again, your presence in campus ministry, right? You led retreats.
I led retreats, went to TNL, all that good stuff. I do wish I was more involved than I actually was. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was definitely involved in,
Yeah, the whole campus ministry experience. Service hours, were you like doing service project, any major projects?
Yeah, so I actually own my own nonprofit. So yeah, it was called Kids for Kindness. I ran that for all of high school. It was basically just providing hygiene necessities for mainly women and families in Orange County. So yeah, I did a lot of outreach with that, which was wonderful.
And was that freshman year, or was that like?
So that I started that like. I took it over like 8th grade and then ran it all throughout my senior year.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And so just for our listeners out there, would that be something you would recommend for students to do something like that, nonprofit or some kind of leadership position?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did that help you with your college admission process?
I mean, I'd like to say yes. I mean, it's getting really competitive out there, but I would definitely recommend to anyone to get involved with service as much as possible. Not so much for the service hours, but just I think it teaches you so much about yourself and teaches you a lot about reality of life. I mean, I think in Orange County we live in a bubble, and I think it's really, really important for kids to get involved in their community and do that kind of outreach. And honestly, working person to person, like actually working with people, is I think very, very important.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me a little bit then, right? So you're in all these programs, you're meeting all these people, you're leading retreats. Give me the highlight reel. Give me something that really kind of, not only made JSerra a unique place to be, but just the impact that it had on you. Was there any kind of big moments that were just like, wow, this is changing my life?
Yeah, so sophomore retreat really, really changed my life. That was the first time in my life when I really gave my yes to God, where I was, it wasn't my family telling me, it wasn't JSerra telling me, it was really something that I felt for myself. And it was during adoration, and it was in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and I just remember being overwhelmed with emotion, and it was my first like, yes, God, like you have my life. And I remember leaving that retreat and thinking, I can never look at life or live life the same, and I haven't. I continue to give my yes to God, and I would encourage anyone who's thinking about going on retreat at any grade to go, because it's amazing.
Life-changing.
Yeah, super life-changing. Yeah. Even if you're not Catholic, I would recommend going. I mean, you never know what can happen. Yeah, the memories, the meeting people. I mean, we had so many memories on retreat.
I love it. And that's so then my wife and campus, that was before JSerra though, right?
What?
Was meeting Sarah. You guys met when you were in 8th grade. No,
so me and Sarah actually met freshman year on retreat. Well, we really bonded over retreat.
Well, hold on real quick. Pause. For those who don't know, Sarah Abdulla, she does work at JSerra. She was a campus minister. She's going to kill me for this. 5 years, I think. She's been here for 7. So just a little context there.
Yeah, so me and Sarah met my freshman year. She actually knew my older brother. I have 3 older brothers. So she actually knew my older brothers, and we kind of made the connection. She was like one of my brother's confirmation leaders. So it was super random. We clicked right away, and ever since, me and Sarah are still best friends to this day. So.
I know that, yeah. That's great. In what ways does JSerra, specifically for you, how did that prepare you for college? And obviously, look, we can go, you kind of spoke a little, you touched on it briefly when you're like, the TV broadcasting, but in all ways, in a holistic way, right? Not just my grades and this, but
totally.
Just give us the whole 9 yards.
I think that JSerra gives a very well-rounded time. Education. Yeah. I mean, it's in, like you were saying, faith, intellect, and character, which I think are the 3 most important attributes of life. In academics, you're in an environment where everyone has a 4.0, is playing a sport, involved in community service. So I think that environment really pushed me to excel, and get kind of competitive. And I think that was very, very, very good for me.
Like the community was elevating.
Oh yeah. It was just kind of even like my peers. You're in a competition for, going to school when you're in high school, if that's what you choose to do.
Sure.
I think that academically, JSerra over-prepared me academically. I remember getting to SDSU my freshman year. my senior year was harder.
No way.
No, I'm being so serious.
Yeah.
Like, my senior year was definitely harder than my freshman year of high school, which I am so grateful for.
Yeah.
So definitely prepared me, over-prepared me academically. And I think in my faith also, you're just surrounded by such an amazing community in faith. And I think that JSerra really built that foundation for me, which I'm extremely grateful for, because I remember going to San Diego State, being thrown into a community that's not Catholic, full of people who are non-believers, and kind of having to make my own way and find my own community in that sense, which I don't think I would have been able to do if I didn't have that strong foundation that JSerra gave me in my faith.
And I'm going to compliment you here because, and I know I don't do it often, but it just seems like you're already attesting to the fact that you have this interior discipline, right, Russ? I'm putting the theology cap on.
Okay.
You have this interior discipline to draw from the source, right? And it's not just, sophomore retreat, I'm making a collegiate decision, but the fact that you went on this mission trip and you just instinctively knew, I'm going to draw within right now and draw that from that strength, and that's beautiful. And so it sounds like that's something that the school kind of helped prepare you to do.
Definitely.
Or instill that habit.
Yeah, I feel like when you're in high school, you're kind of in those formative years where you're kind of choosing your faith.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, this is legit, and this is like actually like me deciding for myself. And I think that if I didn't have that community at JSerra, I really would not have been able to continue my faith in college.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I like it. Okay, so a lot of students, I'm sure some of your peers made some serious bonds with some mentors, some teachers. I'm not going to say me.
Okay.
But who are some of those mentors that you kind of really bonded with over the 4 years?
Yeah, so, obviously, let's start off with you.
Yeah, okay, right.
Let's start off with you. Let's get it
room.
over with.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you and both Sarah impacted my life in such a great way. Such great friendship throughout my years at JSerra. Sarah specifically, sorry.
Sure, no,
sorry,
totally.
not to, whatever. But I really don't think I'd be the woman I am without Sarah. She's been such an amazing role model to me in more ways than one. in faith and also just in life in general. You know, she's always taught me to never take life too seriously. She's just, you know, one laugh away from whatever.
Right.
So yeah, she's been so amazing, and I'm so grateful to have her in my life. And then I'd say academically, I think Mr. and Mrs. Summers really played a strong role, both in and out of the classroom. They taught me so much. Mrs. Summers, to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
she was the one who taught me that.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Summers, he was really drilled in to never run from my fears, kind of face the problem.
Love it.
Yeah, and then also Mrs. Hempel, she was really she taught me just ultimately her big thing was kindness and being kind to yourself and to those around you. And I thought her classroom was just the most peaceful place ever. It was where I would go when I was feeling down.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we kind of wrap up now, because you've been talking a lot.
Okay.
Looking back, you've got a room full of JSerra students, all of them, freshmen to seniors. Just what are you going to say to them? Hey guys, this is my advice to you.
Yeah.
Life lesson here.
Life lesson. Wow, that's.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
Well, okay. So I would say, number one, don't conform to the people around you. I think that it's really important to kind of create your site, which is scary, especially as a freshman. I remember being like, you kind of do what your friends are doing. But I would encourage anyone who's going through that just to make your own path and don't be scared of that. And honestly, going off of that, number two would just to be uncomfortable and you know, be okay with being uncomfortable because that's where the most growth happens in your life. And I learned that this past summer. But I think that allowing yourself to be out of your comfort zone is the number one way to grow.
Yeah.
And then I would say number three is obvious, just keep God at the center of your life. And I mean that truthfully, like, within all things are possible, and you know that's where you get your strength from.
Yeah, amen. I love it. Any practical, like, in regards to your faith that you do on a daily basis, or?
Yeah. So this is actually funny because I went to Argentina and I was able to pray a holy hour, go to mass, and pray a rosary every single day. Which I went down there and I was like, gosh, like I had never prayed a holy hour in my life, and it's daunting. Like I'm sure that you.
Oh yeah.
The first time you prayed a holy hour, whatever. I was like.
Well, now I pray 4. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Overachiever over here. Yeah. No, I remember going in and be like, I cannot sit here for a whole hour, and I remember going in and be like, oh my gosh, like the hour's already up, like it's crazy. So, you know, coming home after that trip, I have installed. You know, trying to pray a holy hour right in the morning. Okay. Praying a daily rosary, which has really helped me. And then. You know, obviously attending mass on Sundays, and then whenever else I can go. So,
I love it.
Yeah, and then I'm in a Bible study once a week, which is, you know, you need that community also. I was going to say that.
Do you stay in touch with anybody from the school? You know, I know you spoke about my wife and myself, but like friend-wise, do you still kind of reach out and connect? And
Yeah. I mean, my best friends came out of JSerra. Okay. Like, I mean that, my truth best friends. I mean, I've gone to school, you know, we've all gone our separate ways, but, I mean, we have unbreakable bonds. Our time at JSerra was unlike anything. Yeah. So I do have some really, really good friends from JSerra. I still keep that core group. Good. Yeah.
Well, oh my gosh, time flies. Thanks for joining me on the very first ever Beyond the Main podcast. And folks, we're going to be trying to do this at least once a month, so tune in. We'll be on YouTube, Instagram, and whatever else I can think of, Spotify. We're going to blast this out to the world. So again, Beyond the Main, thanks for joining me and Hannah, your host, Russ Abdulla, school relations admissions coordinator, theology teacher, football coach.
Go on.
But thank you, and tune in for next time.
Thank you.